Hi guys, Barry here, and earlier this week I sent out a anonymous survey. I didn't collect any email addresses or names. I just wanted to find out about what people's habits were when outsourcing content creation or getting content written for them. And I just wanted to share the results with you. You may find this kind of interesting, an insight into a cross-section, a relatively small cross-section of my audience and probably your audience as well. So I just basically asked people if you outsource content writing, and shocked me that almost half do and half don't. Okay, this is for 47 people that responded to my survey. So half and half, which I thought probably less than half would outsource. So of the people that said no, I wanted to find out why. And the top answers were it becomes too expensive and it's hard to find good writers. Okay, so I can relate to both of these. You do get some junk sent back to you, but it's not just about the expense, it's about the time as well. By the time you've written a brief of what you want them to write about, and then they go off and do it, and then maybe 3 or 4 days later, they come back with an article. More often than not, you might want to have a rewrite on it, or you may end up rewriting it yourself. If it's a rewrite, then that's another 2 or 3 days, and it's a week gone by, and you still haven't got your article. It can be so frustrating. So, expense and finding good writers. Okay, so PLR content. A lot of people use PLR, and that's the reason why they don't outsource. I'm going to go into that a little bit later. Because there is another element to that. I've got so much running on this computer now that the fan's kicked in, so if you hear something in the background, that's what it is. Okay, so for the people that don't, I wanted to find out what they consider to be too expensive, right? And I got this wrong. I should have put a $0 to $25 here, but I didn't. So that doesn't really tell me very much, just that some people think anywhere from $0 to $75 is too expensive. So it could be $1. I don't know. My mistake. I must get better at doing surveys. But interestingly, over half, there's 7 people said that was too expensive. Over half thought over 75 was too expensive, and that's why they didn't do it. It tells me that if it was below 75, then they would probably continue to outsource. So the people that do outsource, what are they actually outsourcing? That was my next question I wanted to answer. Mostly it's blog articles. I expected that. Secondly, I didn't quite expect reports and ebooks to be second, but I guess it makes sense. And because you could choose more than one answer to this, I suppose that some people are making the blog articles into reports or something like that. So these could be lead magnets. I doubt whether people are doing full ebooks, but who knows? Another surprise is video scripts, but I guess that's because a lot of people may be using Vidnami, and so they're wanting content to turn into videos, so they're getting the content written for them rather than doing it themselves. Surprised me that emails were so far up the list, and ad copy was 0. I thought that emails and ad copy would go hand in hand. But I get it. Sales copy is well down. I thought that would be further up as well, but then I realized that if you get an article written, it's going to be a certain amount per word. If you get sales copy written, they're going to multiply that up, because sales copy is, of course, we all know, a magical, mystical art that can't be learned. And then a few people here saying they're using making content, having content written to sell as PLR, which is kind of smart. If you're spending, I don't know, a couple of $100 getting 10 articles together, and then you put them in a pack and you sell them as PLR, you're going to make more than a couple of $100 in profit. So it makes sense. Okay. I wanted to know what people paid on average as well. And you can see here that most people are paying somewhere between 5 and 10 cents a word. So that's interesting, because if it's about 7 pence a word, 7 cents a word, okay, that means that a 500 word article is going to cost $35 on average. So you can see how the expense adds up there. $35 for a 500 word. That's only a 500 word article. It'd be $70 for a 1,000 word article. And you really need to have 1,000 words, or between 500 and 1,000 words as a minimum. So you can see it starts to get expensive. There are a few people there that have found cheaper writers, but my guess is they're going to have to do quite a bit of rewriting when that comes back, or they're going to have to demand rewrites, which again goes back to that time-consuming thing I said earlier. And then a few people are probably using something like Constant Content and going for la creme de la creme of content writing, and are spending north of 10 cents a word. And that's great, because you're going to get really, really great quality writing for that. And I wanted to find out how much people are spending. And the majority of people are spending up to $50. But then if you add these two together, that gives you an equal amount of people that are spending between 50 and 150. And when you add this guy in, this chap at the end that is serious about his content, obviously, that's more than half of people are spending between 150 up to over $150 a month on content. So that was surprising. I know that's the top answer, but there's more people here that are spending more than that. So people are spending a lot of money on this. And the one question I wanted to find out about the PLR crowd is, yeah, I don't outsource it because I get PLR. All right, so what do you do with that PLR? Well, not many people use it as is, according to this survey. Most people are going to completely rewrite it and use it as a guide, which is brilliant. That's what I suggest you do with PLR. And some people change bits and bobs of it to make it more unique. Okay, so, and the other there were people that are using it to create lead magnets and stuff like that, and they feel that it's not really necessary to change it out too much, and I get that too. But it does mean that there's a bit of writing to do, even if you're using PLR. So quite an interesting survey. Over half people outsourcing, most people spending over $50 a month for content, and some of the reasons why people don't expense. And if it was cheaper, they probably would. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. And anyway, the point is that I've been testing one or two things out this week, and really testing them, and spending a lot of money and buying stuff, and basically checking stuff out and testing stuff, because there is a way to get really good content without having to write it all yourself, and without having to get somebody else to write it for you. And when I say write it, I mean rewrite it as well if you're in the PLR, but if you use PLR. And that is using what they call artificial intelligence content writing, or content writing assistance. Now, I looked briefly at these, when was it? Probably last year sometime, and I thought it was all a bit rudimentary, and it didn't really justify doing. But things have changed, and things have improved, and there's a lot. This is a buzzword now, and you're going to get a lot of these coming along in the next few months, and they are going to want to impress you, and they will impress you, because I'm impressed with what can happen with AI writing now, and it saves a ton of money and a ton of time. And I've been testing out one or two products, one or two platforms out there, and I want to show you what I found, and I want to try and save you a bit of money. So in the video below this one, I'm going to show you, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I've tried, and I'm going to mess around in one of them so you can actually see it working for yourself, and you can have a laugh at how badly I use it, because I've only just really started using these things, There's a little bit of playing around to do with them, but it's great fun. And you'll see how I do that in the next video. So that's just down below this one. So go and watch it. It'll be fun. Catch you later.